the Chi-Town experience on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the like.
These recent reports coming out is not a great look for Bears general manager Ryan Poles. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Bears fans, make sure you do me another huge favor, but also hit the like button on today's episode of Keek on the Mic. So, Bears fans, we have some news to talk about on today's episode, and I think things continue to get more and more juicy as times go on into the offseason, the ending of the season here for the Chicago Bears. And we've had a whole lot of conversations about the Chicago Bears head coaching search, about the status of Ryan Poles, and we've also had a lot of conversations about who actually hired head coach Matt Eberflus. A lot of us believe that Ryan Poles was not the one that hired Matt Eberflus. It was actually the McCaskey and the Bears organization that basically, tied Ryan Poles' hands and basically forced Matt Eberflus on Ryan Poles. But new reports signal that that was not the case, that Ryan Poles did in fact have an option. And this is according to Dan Wiederer. He is a writer of the Chicago Tribune. He wrote a full-on article about this, and it's absolutely insane on some of the things that he had to say. Here's a little piece of the article that I want to share with you guys. He said, to be clear, Eberflus was never forced on Poles, at least not by anyone employed at Halas Hall. The two share representation in agent Trace Armstrong, and per Poles' account, had become friendly after meeting years back through mutual acquaintances. Bears fans, this is not a great look on Ryan Poles. And there's another part of this article that I also want to share with you guys. And of course, you guys can react as we're going through today's video on Keek on the Mic. There was also a report in this article from Dan Wiederer of the Chicago Tribune, basically just stating that prior to Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears hiring Matt Eberflus as the Chicago Bears head coach a couple of years ago, the Indianapolis Colts were actually prepared to fire Eberflus as their defensive coordinator. They didn't have to because Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears ended up hiring Eberflus as their next head coach. Bears fans, this is not a great look for Ryan Poles whatsoever. I have a lot of trust in Dan Wiederer. I think he does amazing work over there at the Chicago Tribune, and he has a lot of strong connections inside Halas Hall. So usually when he writes reports like this or writes articles like this, he is telling the truth. So it seems that Ryan Poles is not only the one that made the decision to hire Matt Eberflus, but he was also in the forefront to actually keep Matt Eberflus before the season started this season as well. So this is not a great look on Ryan Poles. I know he's kind of on the hot seat right now amongst some Chicago Bears fans. I understand that he's done a lot of good things, but the more reports you're hearing coming out of Halas Hall, we talked a lot about Ryan Poles maybe not being happy about, having to report to Kevin Warren. Before he took the job, he was more comfortable just reporting straight to the McCaskey family. He could be unhappy about, the new power dynamic inside the Chicago Bears organization. And it just seems like the more and more and more the information continues to come out on Ryan Poles, the more that leads me to believe that Ryan Poles may either resign or he may get fired as Chicago Bears GM as soon as this offseason. Once again, I think Ryan Poles has done a lot of great things for this organization. I think he does deserve the chance to possibly find the next head coach of the Chicago Bears. I do still have some belief in Ryan Poles, but at the same time, if Kevin Warren really wants to put a stamp and his name on this organization and wants to start fresh, this would be the time to do it. And the only reason why I bring that up is because, for example, if Ben Johnson is your top candidate, we've all heard that Ben Johnson wants to make sure that he is aligned with his general manager, and with the status of Ryan Poles unclear, I don't think Ben Johnson's going to want to come here to a very dysfunctional organization where it seems like there is no long-term commitment at the moment for your current general manager in Ryan Poles. So This is going to be an interesting thing over these next couple of months. And what makes this kind of a sticky situation with the Chicago Bears is the fact that multiple players have given Ryan Poles a vote of confidence. It started off with rookie quarterback Caleb Williams. He talked about how much he appreciates Ryan Poles, how he feels like he has Chicago Bears in the right direction. So that was obviously a strong endorsement for general manager Ryan Poles. There's been other players in the past talking about how much they love Ryan Poles as well. So if Kevin Warren does decide, if things get, even crazier over these next couple of months, and let's say Ryan Poles either resigns or Kevin Warren fires Ryan Poles for some crazy reason, how will that make the players in the locker room feel? I understand it's a business side of things as well, but I'm not sure how the players would take that news of maybe Kevin Warren letting go of Ryan Poles. But on the business side of things, let's say once again Ben Johnson is your top candidate to become the next head coach of the Chicago Bears. This would be the perfect opportunity for Kevin Warren and the Chicago Bears organization to make sure everything is aligned with the general manager and your new head coach and Ben Johnson. So, for example, Bill Zimmerman actually posted a post on X, and I wanted to share his thought process on this, and I kind of have the same idea on if they did get rid of general manager Ryan Poles and they brought in Ben Johnson, this is exactly how they can align the organization to make Ben Johnson feel comfortable for the long-term future here with the Chicago Bears. Obviously, Ben Johnson via Albert Breer wants GM and head coach aligned. He said Ray Agnew is a line assistant GM and was with the Rams in the late 90s with Kevin Warren. So there's already some connection there between Ray Agnew and Kevin Warren. So that relationship would be tight. And then obviously Ray Agnew being the Lions assistant GM would obviously align with current Lions OC Ben Johnson. So that would make a lot of sense. And then Hank Fraley is Lions O-line coach and comes with via promotion to the offensive coordinator. So he would possibly come with Ben Johnson and be the offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears. And obviously Robert Saleh and Johnson share the same agent. So now if Ben Johnson becomes the head coach of the Chicago Bears, there's a lot of Bears fans saying, well, hey, even though he doesn't have any proven experience, he's what's best for Caleb Williams, but at least go get a experienced defensive coordinator that may have some head coach experience. Obviously, Robert Saleh is one of the best defensive coordinators in the National Football League. He has some head coach experience. Even though it didn't work out, maybe he could give Ben Johnson some knowledge on what didn't work for him when he was the New York Jets head coach. So, like I said, there's pros and cons to this whole situation, but I just find it kind of interesting that these reports continue to come out on Ryan Poles, and right now it's not looking too good. I still think maybe Kevin Warren has some vote of confidence, and he could very well come back and maybe earn an extension to be the Bears GM for the next couple of years, and you can possibly still get Ben Johnson on board and convince him that, hey, there's stability with Ryan Poles, there's stability for the long-term future for the Bears organization. But if Kevin Warren does make that decision and puts a stamp on this organization and says, hey, I'm leading the charge, and he does exactly what Bill Zimmerman thinks they should do, I'm definitely in agreement on that as well, to make sure Ben Johnson is aligned with the GM, making sure Kevin Warren is also aligned with his head coach and new GM as well. So Bears fans, let me know down below what your thought process is on all of this. I know you guys have some opinions on that. You guys still don't believe that Ryan Poles was the one that made the official hire of Matt Eberflus. You thought his hands were tied and he was, handpicked by the McCaskey family. But according to Dan Wiederer, that is not the case, and that was Ryan Poles' pick for head coach. So let me know how you're feeling down below in the comment section. But as always, Bears fans, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. Better than that, be back for all new Bears podcasts right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic.